Hey everyone, Colgate here. Today I wanted to talk about the concept of turn zero in Yu Gi Oh! Normally in a card game, there is the first turn where the player that is going first takes their turn as normal, right? And that's all fine and dandy, because then the second turn, right, the other player goes. But here's the thing. This is Yu Gi Oh! We're talking about, where this can happen. All of this, right? And that's pretty crazy. So, what did Yu-Gi-Oh do to fix this? They created cards that allow you to go first even if you go second. I think the concept of cards that you can activate on your opponent's first turn, not even just hand traps like Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, which can be activated to stop your opponent from doing plays. It's not even about that. Because then you have cards where if your opponent does something, uh, a card from your archetype can actually be activated on their turn to start playing the game, to start playing your game, right? And so there's a couple examples of this already in the game, and there have been a lot more in recent times, right? There's Tearlament's Havness. That was potentially the first big one, where if your opponent activates a monster effect, you just get to mill, because Tearlament is a mill deck, right? And then you get to start your fusion plays. And to a lot of people, that was crazy, because Tearlaments was crazy, which is why it's still severely hit on the ban list after multiple times where they had to slaughter it. But that didn't stop Yu-Gi-Oh! From trying to fix the problem and trying again. Um, no archetype has come close to being as crazy as Tearlaments was, right? And so what goes on now is they have these cards. They have Holly Sue for Vanquish Soul. They have there's the new Canine card as well, Izuna. You could just like this one right here. During the main phase, if your opponent has activated a monster effect in the hand or graveyard this turn, which includes their turn, then you can just summon this card. The more you make cards like this, the better it is for Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it has gotten to the point where you could do so much in a Yu-Gi-Oh! Turn, right? That it just doesn't make sense not to let both players play the game at the same time. That's how you make going second better. Because I've heard people, I won't name any names, but there's people out there that think going second in Yu-Gi-Oh is terrible, awful, and I don't think that's the case. I think that there's been enough effort from Konami to make it so where turn zero is a place that you can play your game as well. I just really hope that they also see the benefit in that and keep doing it. Because there's people who will complain about it and will say that it is far too strong. But I'm going to be so real with you. I don't care if my opponents can start playing on turn zero. I think that's cool. Because then we get a more interactive game where both people are playing cards. And at the end of the day, that's what we want to do. This game is crazy, by the way. Like, despite the fact that Orcus went second, it it had Forbidden Droplet, which, by the way, the going second cards in Yu-Gi-Oh in general, even if we're not talking about turn zero, are still really good. I just do hope that there's more of a lean in when it comes to that in the future, right? That's kind of just something I wanted to bring about because there is a lot of cards um, currently in the game that do such a thing. And in my ideal world, if every new deck can play on turn zero, that's fine. You know, maybe disagree with me if you want, right? But there's no downside to making an archetype play on turn zero, so that both players can interact, as long as the archetype that is being played is fair, right? Can't be some like unfun floodgate thing. Just make it like a fair archetype. Like, give me a Fluandereeze that can summon on the opponent's turn and start the Fluandereeze line on that first turn. Why not? You know, give me Dark Magician cards that can be activated on the opponent's first turn, so that you can start to do your Dark Magician combos or like your Blue Eyes combos. You know, it to me there's no downside to that. Yeah, I just wanted to make a short video on that because I think it's something that a lot of people talk about, and I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in the ring because I think it is extremely interesting from the perspective of someone that grew up with like old Yu-Gi-Oh, like Yugi versus Kaiba type shit. For Yu-Gi-Oh to come this far, it just makes sense that this is the next evolution of what Yu-Gi-Oh the card game should be. And that's just interactivity. Because at the end of the day, that's what makes this card game, to me, the most special out of all of them. Is the freedom that you have to do anything you want. And I just want there to be more freedom for the players. Anyways, that's just my little video. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.